When your cat refuses to go back to dry food after eating wet, that's not stubbornness. That's a memory of what feeling good actually feels like. And the biology behind why wet food creates that memory reaches into your cat's kidneys, metabolism, coat, and even the way they bond with you. Cats evolved in the desert. Their ancestors sourced nearly all of their hydration not from water bowls, but from prey. A fresh mouse is about 75 to 80% moisture. Dry kibble sits around 10%. That gap isn't a minor nutritional footnote. A 2011 study in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery confirmed that cats on wet food produce significantly more dilute urine, and dilute urine is exactly what a healthy feline urinary system needs. Concentrated urine behaves like a slow-forming crystal factory inside the kidneys, and urinary blockages are among the most common and most expensive emergencies in male cats. More dilute means the system flushes before those formations take hold. The same moisture moves through the digestive tract like a natural lubricant, helping hairballs pass through rather than sit and cause chronic inflammation. The weight story is more interesting than most people expect. A cat gaining size on dry food isn't a willpower problem, it's a fuel mismatch. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning their bodies evolved with almost none of the enzymes needed to process carbohydrates efficiently. Most kibble is 30 to 40% carbohydrates because starch is what binds the pellets together. That excess doesn't metabolize cleanly, it converts to stored fat. Researchers at the Waltham Center for Pet Nutrition found that cats eating wet food maintain leaner body composition even when food was available around the clock. The reason is protein. Protein triggers satiety signals far more powerfully than carbohydrates do, and a cat eating enough of it walks away genuinely satisfied rather than metabolically confused. A chunkier cat on kibble isn't lazy, they're running on the wrong fuel for the body they were born with. The coat tells a quieter version of the same story. Dull fur and flaking skin get blamed on breed genetics or grooming habits, but more often, the trail leads back to the food. The high heat used to manufacture kibble burns off much of the protein and fatty acid content before the cat swallows it. By the time nutrition reaches the coat, the raw material is thin. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Science documented measurable improvements in coat quality when cats shifted to diets higher in protein and moisture, the kind wet food naturally provides. What changed wasn't how often they groomed, it was what their body had available to build with. Chaotic mealtime behavior, the 4 a.m. yelling, the relentless begging an hour after a full bowl follows the same biological logic. Research published in Physiology and Behavior found that dietary protein significantly increases the release of cholecystokinin, the hormone that tells the brain the meal is complete. Carbohydrates barely move that signal. On a kibble diet, a cat can finish eating and register genuine hunger within an hour because the satiety system was never fully engaged. Wet food doesn't just fill the stomach, it closes the loop. A cat that walks away from wet food walks away satisfied, not paused. Now the part most wet food content skips. Once wet food sits in a bowl past 30 minutes, it enters the temperature range where bacterial growth accelerates, and unlike kibble, it gives no visual or olfactory warning that it's turned. That's a management issue, not a reason to avoid wet food, but it requires attention. The slower cost is dental. Kibble's texture provides some mechanical friction against tooth surfaces. Wet food offers none. A study in the Journal of Veterinary Dentistry found that cats eating exclusively soft diets showed significantly higher rates of periodontal disease and tartar accumulation. The food isn't the problem. The assumption that switching to wet is purely upside is. With an all-wet diet, daily brushing or textured dental chews move from optional to necessary. That's the deal. The behavioral shift is worth examining as its own field report. Much of what reads as a cat's personality, the guardedness around the bowl, the unpredictability, the distance, is frequently stress, not temperament. A cat operating in low-grade nutritional deficit keeps its nervous system primed for scarcity. That means elevated cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, which locks the brain into a state of vigilance. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that cats on more stable, protein-rich diets showed measurable reductions in anxiety-related behaviors. A cat that isn't running on empty doesn't need to guard its resources. It has space to be curious, to seek proximity, not because a meal is coming, but because the environment feels safe. Which brings us back to the downside. Cats form food preferences during kittenhood, and those preferences lock in quickly. The hidden cost of wet food isn't bacterial or dental, it's inflexibility. Once a cat learns what it feels like to be properly nourished, it tends to hold on to that standard. But that resistance isn't stubbornness, it's loyalty to the version of themselves that finally felt right. The investigation into feline nutrition goes considerably deeper than a single dietary shift. If this field report changed how you see what's in your cat's bowl, the next one will take you further. Subscribe to follow the work.